Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the Hyundai Verna. Now this is a modified version of the Verna and it gets a custom bumper, a custom grille as well, but straight away, the usual has to be done, which is opening the engine bay. But you can see there's nothing which has changed here. However, it has got some performance mods which we will talk about when we're driving the vehicle. Now there are a lot of small changes to just improve the overall abilities of this car. Like for instance, the projector has been changed for a better focus, and you get this beautiful grille which is massive obviously, but like the treatment is really very nice. These holes are for the number plate which has been removed right now just to shoot this vlog, and the bumper is also customized. Coming to the side, the wheels have been changed and they actually look quite nice as well. But you can see those wind deflectors, they have been imported from Korea. I'm not kidding. These have been imported from Korea. That is the reason they extend all the way till here. The roof has been finished in black. That shark fin antenna has been there in the Verna since earlier. Looking at the wheels, 215/45/17s. That's right, 215/45/17s Michelin tires. And they are so big, the wheels, that they actually jut out of the vehicle. From the side, the car definitely looks sportier due to all these changes. And at the rear, you get a custom spoiler as well. Can you see that exhaust? Yeah, that exhaust is loud. We'll talk about it later. But nice subtle spoiler, no riceness here. Anyways, it says petrol right there because this is a petrol car, and you also get this so that you don't chip the edges of the door, even on the front door, so that you don't chip the edges of the door when you drive the vehicle and open it with urgency near a supermarket where a lot of people are actually already walking. Space is still poor at the rear, which is the biggest disappointing thing about the Hyundai Verna. Center armrest, Verna written right there, just in case you forget which car you're getting into. I love the seats on this car, the aftermarket seats. They are really nice as well. Anyways, getting inside, let me tell you that mainly it is the seat which is so different. So yeah, the seat is extremely different and comfortable as well. So actually quite, I'm so sorry, things are dropping. Car is actually quite new, that's why these things have also not been removed yet. But the tires have been widened. Turning on the vehicle, let me tell you straight away, firstly it's a petrol manual there, and you can hear the sound. Yeah, let's turn off the air conditioning. Let's open the window and let's rev. So it doesn't rev more than 5000 RPM in neutral, but there's nothing much different from the regular Verna. But how is it to drive? Well, let's get driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning on the vehicle, and it rose to life into first gear. Wipers on, revving the motor. It revs all the way to 5000 RPM and off it goes. Okay, it redlines cleanly at 6500 RPM. Now I'm not too sure if you can hear much because the insulation levels are fab from Hyundai, but in spite of the custom exhaust, it's not very intrusive. I mean, it's there, it's sporty, but it's not very loud as such. This fan is off or what? Yeah, it is. Anyways, getting to the gas, you can see that the added mid-range thanks to the custom exhaust is immediately noticeable, and this car is running on spacers. So I told you these are wide tires. They're not so wide as well, but they are running spacers on this vehicle because the stock tire size is apt for the car. If you try to upgrade, Hyundai's whole design is such that you will not be able to, because it is going to foul against the brake caliper, which means that spacers had to be put on this vehicle. Okay, the clutch is really very light and the gearbox is also smooth shifting as well. And here now, right now I'm in 6th gear. Listen to the exhaust note. As I get into the throttle, that bass is there. It sounds really very nice. I mean, it's mild yet sporty enough to give you an exciting feel while driving this vehicle. Now brakes offer chauffeur stopping power thanks to the fact that this car is running on really wide tires. The petrol doesn't have stiffness at the front as much as the diesel, because obviously the petrol engine is lighter. The steering doesn't have much feel and feedback. It kind of feels lackluster at most speeds. However, it feels slightly heavier and having more heft here because of the wider tires, which is just making the steering slightly heavier, which is a big bonus as such. Other changes include an air filter in this vehicle, and like I told you about the exhaust, it also is running 9J wheels, 17 inches. So definitely the overall package isn't all towards extremism, but it's enough to make the Verna feel sporty. Windows open, revving the motor, you can hear it now. There is so much oomph on offer that the car wants to wheel spin all the time, but because the road is wet, it does not do it right away. So yes, performance is really very nice from Hyundai's petrol engine. It just lacks that soul. I mean, yeah, the steering doesn't offer the feel, and the body roll, although well contained, it just doesn't point in the direction you would expect it to. That is the only gripe of the Verna, but smoothness, punchiness, all of that and more is easily present here. I mean, the pull is linear, it's nice, there's no step up in power. It's not going to surprise you, but there is good amount of thrust on offer, which is brilliant about the petrol version of the Verna. It's also quite stable at higher speeds. It's just that, you know, when you twirl the steering wheel, it doesn't inspire any confidence whatsoever. Here, I'm going to downshift to second gear. Their motor revs quite fast as such. 7,500 RPM is what we would expect it to go, because you know that's what JDM does to you. However, this one redlines at 6,500 RPM, which is par the course because it is the same as the stock version of the Verna. The exhaust and the changes here don't really make any difference in terms of the way the motor pulls. It just makes it more eager somehow and makes it sound better as well. And it feels very throaty and boomy at lower revs. In fact, it bangs, it pops, it does all of that. Only thing is, it does it at a certain RPM, which I'm trying to figure which RPM. Here we go. Pull is nice and sure-footed, and there it goes. Alright, first gear, driving the motor. It loves to wheel spin. That is the amount of grunt on offer. And there, okay, lift off, and certainly you will enjoy the lift off as well on this vehicle. But how is the Verna Petrol overall? It is extremely refined a car. It's extremely smooth, easy to drive, but definitely not a driver's machine. Not even when you put a custom exhaust, a custom air filter, wider rubber. None of that really, you know, dramatically changes the vehicle. Yeah, it feels slightly better to drive than a stock version of the Verna, but still not there with stock versions of the City in terms of driving feel. But since there's a new version of the City which is expected soon, and not everybody wants to scream to the red line and say VTEC kicked in yo, the VT of the Verna is also good enough for those who are looking for practicality and smoothness. Alright, you have to be really calculative when turning, because the steering kind of amplifies the body roll from this vehicle, and it does it to a great extent as well. So the Verna Petrol is definitely very attractively priced in the segment, making it a great pick for those who are looking for something which is practical, refined, comfortable and smooth as well. Yeah, you can hear a bit of the wheel spin. Anyways, right now the MID is reading 7.4 kilometers per liter. I have absolutely no freaking idea whoever's been driving this car has been doing what. I think that person is putting a straw and sipping fuel from the fuel tank, because this kind of mileage is kind of unexpected. But remember one thing, whenever you modify your car, you're obviously going to rev the nuts out of it to listen to the exhaust note, and that is obviously going to eat into the fuel economy of the vehicle. So guys, this is my vlog of the Hyundai Verna. Fab all-rounder vehicle, but lacks in terms of driving feel as well as rear seat space, making it a less practical machine in spite of the practicality offered in terms of features, comfort, ease of driving and definitely pricing as well, and Hyundai's massive sales and service network. But trust me, the Verna is actually more fun to drive than a Sedan, which says a lot of how much Hyundai has improved. Okay, let's listen to this again. Yeah, I mean, it does make that sound, just not as audible on the inside because of great insulation from Hyundai. You can't tune a Verna so easily because the ECU is locked, so Hyundai really tries to restrict a lot of things and more, which is kind of unfortunate. But then Hyundai also knows that their cars are not meant for driving fun or feel. It's all about reaching a destination in comfort and easiness. So if you like this vlog, you know what you have to do. Give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. And here we go. Bye bye.